Hola, Gypsies! Hello, everyone. Gipsy Dean is here once again with another destination. This time it's a big destination about Destination Europe. Over 10 years ago, I made my first trip to Europe, and it was a big trip. I was there for 6 months, and I'm going to show you the best parts of Europe. London, Paris, Rome, and Madrid, the four most important capitals of Europe. Gipsy Dean has seen and experienced all of them. And everyone, you get to experience them once again with me. And I must admit, some of these places, especially in Spain, I forgot what they were. I should have categorized them better when I actually did the filming back in those days. Okay, well, it's a slideshow, and I'll be back at the end to tell you my final destination, the final part of my destination series. Okay, so hang in there till the end, and let's go to Europe. Well, I left Sevilla, Spain, and flew into the Gatwick Airport outside of London. Took a train in, and I was in Piccadilly Square. Hey, here's the Ripley's Believe It or Not building. Believe it or not. I made it into a pub. Had a couple of brews. Always wanted to do that. Piccadilly Backpackers Hospital. That's the only place I could afford. Here's one of the famous double-decker buses of London. Or you could take a taxi. They're so cute. But when the weather's better, you can rent a bike. Or take the subway. Here's the Ripley's Believe It or Not building in the daytime. Here is the Duke of York's Tower. And here's the Waterloo Plaza. Here's a shot of Westminster Abbey. Here we have a couple of bobbies, 2x2. Okay, here's a panoramic view of Big Ben. And then we have the Houses of Parliament. The Old Palace Yard. Palace of Westminster. And of course, Big Ben. And here I am with Big Ben once again. That's it, the palace and Big Ben and the Gipsy Dean. Here's another shot of Westminster Abbey. And here's the Methodist Central Hall, located close to Westminster Abbey. Here it is again. And here's Buckingham Palace. Yes. Well guarded by the guards. I forgot what they call them. The beef eaters. That's right. Now you see me in front of Buckingham Palace. Here's the Queen Victoria Memorial Monument with yours truly in front of it. Okay, here's the Westminster Cathedral, not to be confused with Westminster Abbey. Beautiful, inside and out. And now here's the St. Paul's Cathedral. From another angle, the same cathedral. Here's the front of the St. Paul's Cathedral, the biggest one in London. Here's 10 Trinity Square. Here's a statue nearby St. Paul's Cathedral. And now we made it to the London Bridge. And here I am, smiling that I made it to the London Bridge. I actually walked across it. That's right, I'm on the bridge. St. Thomas Hospital by the River Thames. Look at this great panoramic view. And there's the London Eye, the giant Ferris wheel. Now we're ending this presentation with a few shots of the Tower of London and the dungeons nearby. Some of the most infamous places in the old days to be. Well, I hope you enjoy this little mini tour of London. Oui, we're in Paris, France. Let's take a tour. Well, the first stop would be the Arc of Triumph and the famous Champs-Élysées Avenue next to it, where all the high dollar stores are, like Cartier and Louis Vuitton, etc. People are out on a nice day enjoying a coffee with a view of the Eiffel Tower. Yes, the Eiffel Tower. Gipsy Dean went to the top. Here I am, smiling with my French beret on. Mine was short that day. I got up fast. Here's the view from the first level. Here's Gipsy on the first level. Here's another view. Now here's a view from the second level. Okay, now let's check some of the French architecture. I just love it. Here's the Hotel de Ville. Crepes on every corner. Well, not every corner. Now here's a very famous bridge. Here's the Army Museum. And here's the Pont Alexander, one of the most famous bridges, with the monument included. Here I am on Pont Alexander. Here's the Petit Palace. Then on a rainy day, I went and visited the Louvre Museum, the biggest and most fabulous museum in the world. I spent the whole day there and had to kind of hurry through it to see everything. Here I am, a work of art. And here's the crowd in front of the Mona Lisa. Yes, I saw the Mona Lisa. Look at the fabulous hallways, artwork everywhere. The ceilings, oh, so beautiful in that museum. Here's the Venus de Milo. And now we have the famous Notre Dame Cathedral. I saw it before the fire. Here's the inside, kind of a dark photo. Here's the side view of the Notre Dame. And now we will see the Hotel de Ville by the Thames River. And now, the highest point around Paris is this cathedral with a name I can't pronounce. The last day I was in Paris, it snowed. Oh, it was horrible. I couldn't go out to the gardens. Okay, au revoir, Paris. Mamma mia, it's time to go to Rome, Italy. Here's a quick opening shot. You can see the Colosseum. Let's get on a bus and tour around and see Rome. And here is the Piazza della Repubblica. Next we have the Basilica of Santa Maria, a beautiful church. And here's the Palazzo Expedition. And here is the fabulous Victor Emmanuel II monument. From the roof I took this shot. The police are carefully guarding it. And here's Basilica Santa Maria. Here's what they call the National Staircase. It leads up to the Piazza del Campidoglio. Now here's some Roman movies. Everything. There's another beautiful church. And here is the Colosseum, of course. Next to the Colosseum, we have the Arch at Constantine. Various forms of transportation. You can get an old trolley car or an old Fiat 650. Now here are some of the beautiful ponts, the old ancient bridges crossing the river in Rome. Here we have San Agnese, which faces one of the principal plazas, the old section of the city. here, another pond leading up to the Castel Santo Angelo. Another beautiful pond. Here we have the Palace of Justice in the Supreme Court. Here I'm at the Terrazza del Pineo, which is next to the Piazza del Popolo with the twin churches. And here we are at the famous Spanish Steps, one of the must-visit places in Rome. And another one of the must-visit places is the Trevi Fountain, where if you throw coins in, maybe someday you'll return to Rome. Now here is the Pantheon, another iconic landmark. Okay, now we're going to leave downtown Rome to visit Vatican City. Here I am in Vatican City in the giant square next to the Basilica of St. Peter. Now inside the Basilica of St. Peter, the largest Catholic church in the world, is Michelangelo's Pieta, one of the most famous sculptures in the world. Yes, inside this basilica, it was just massive. Here's the front of it up closer. There's the altar. Vatican City. Time to say Arrivederci, a Rome. And now, let's go to Madrid, Spain. Bienvenidos amigos. If I could live anywhere in the world, it would be in Spain. Let's take a tour. Here's the main square, one of the largest buildings. Now look at all this typical architecture from the turn of the century. It's beautiful. They don't make them like this anymore. Here's one of the most famous streets with more beautiful architecture. Everywhere you look in central, old, historical Madrid, it's beautiful. Here's the Palacio de Cibeles. And here's the Palace Hotel. Very close to the Ritz Hotel. It's kind of a ritzy place, the Hotel Ritz. Okay, let's go have some tapas. Yeah. Jamón Iberico, jamón serrano, and the best cheese in the world. Hey, we have a museum of ham. Yes, where you can pick out the best cuts. Okay, now we're at the Royal Palace of Spain. It was closed when I was there. I couldn't tour it. Here's the rear of the palace. And here's the cathedral opposite the palace, which is by Plaza de Oriente. I didn't go in the National Museum. Look at this Ark of Victoria. Here's another Basilica of San Francisco. Beautiful. Yep, I'm on the corner here, just admiring the place. Inside the cathedral. Here's the National Library of Spain. And the Puerta de Alcalá, which is close to the entrance to this great park. Here's a monument. Many monuments in this park. Many fountains. And here's more of Plaza Oriente. And another monument to Alfonso XII. Him mounted on a horse, overlooking this small lake. The Crystal Palace, I didn't get to go in, but it's a beautiful place. Here's the Stock Exchange of Madrid and the famous Prada Museum. I toured it. Now, let's go into the Botanical Gardens. Here I am. Okay, here's the Royal Opera Theatre of Madrid. Close by is the Plaza de Toros. Ole! Ole! I went to the bullfight there. Here we are at the main plaza of Madrid with all these guys performing optical illusions. They look like they're floating, but somehow they've got it set up with steel supports. It's amazing. Look at these guys floating, doing this for tips. Okay, it's the Plaza Mayor in the evening. Okay, it's a nighttime. You could go to the Hard Rock Cafe if you want to rock. But I prefer flamenco. Yes, I saw flamenco in Madrid, the best in the world. It's a record store that sells flamenco music. And inside, I met Tomatito, the world's greatest flamenco guitarist. And he let me take a photo of him. He shook my hand. And then we went to this bar. Ah! Okay, Gypsies, well, thank you for hanging in there and watching the whole video. I hope you enjoyed it. Yes, Europe is beautiful. It is spectacular. And I went twice to Europe. The second time I was just in Spain. Well, okay. My next destination and the final destination of this series will be just about Spain. Because I spent most of the 6 months in Spain. And the second time I went, I was just in one place in Spain. You'll find out my favorite place in Spain, and you'll see the best of Spain in my next destination, my final destination in Europe. But of course, Gipsy Dean will always be traveling, and there will always be another destination. Okay, amigos. Okay, everyone. Hasta la próxima.